trouble I've seen. Hello, welcome once again to Stuff and Things Plays. I'm your good friend Bradley, and today is a very pleasant Sunday Stuff and Things. And on this pleasant Sunday Stuff and Things, there are many stuffs and things to talk about, including upcoming videos, things that you can look forward to on Stuff and Things and Stuff and Things Plays. We will get into a little bit, well, I have some questions I want to ask you about logistical things for the channels, how you would like to support the channels. I've had some people give me some suggestions and I would like to run them by all of you. We will talk about an update on McBaren Vanilla Roll Cake. Some of you may have seen the first episode in the I'm Not Going to Like This series, and a lot of you seem to enjoy it. I got a lot of feedback and a lot of comments on that episode. But many of you were asking for an update. Had I tried it after recording that video? Had my opinion changed? So we're going to talk about that a little bit in this episode. And then as I mentioned, we have lots of feedback in hashtag askstuffandthings from you. So let's get into it. So you can't see this right now, but this desk where I'm recording here is absolutely strewn with notebooky things. And so some of you who first started following this channel because of journals and fountain pens and things like that, you may be excited to know that I have done a video, basically the 6-year follow-up on my original Midori Traveler's Notebook passport size review, along with the full-size Midori Traveler's Notebook, which now they're not called Midori. I didn't even realize that anymore. They're called Traveler's Company Traveler's Notebook. I think Midori was so much better. I don't know why they changed to Traveler's Company. But anyway, I did this review, I think, 7 years ago. It is by far the most popular video on this channel, which I find kind of funny because my channel isn't mostly about notebooks and stationery and things. But this review has, I think, like 400,000 views. It's been on Japanese television. They put a clip from my video review on a show in Japan. So people have wanted me to do an update on this, but I don't really use the full-size one all that much. It's pretty much just when I travel. I use the passport size all the time, still though, 6 years later. And so I decided to do an update on the passport size Midori Traveler's Notebook, now called Traveler's Company Traveler's Notebook passport size. Anyway, here's how it looks after 6 years. You may notice it has a few more battle scars. A patina has developed. I love this thing. I still use it all the time. And so I'm doing a video basically talking about what I've been using it for, how I've been using it, pens that I use with it, has the layout inside, have I changed the configuration of this notebook, anything that I've done with it. And so that video will be posting this Wednesday. And I was getting into all these different things. Actually, I didn't talk too much about these other inserts, but I was talking about just Midori stuff, or now Traveler's Company stuff. So those of you who are into those kinds of videos, stay tuned for that. And I'm going to be having a new fountain pen review pretty soon. And that has to do kind of with this, because I've been for years looking for a fountain pen that I could actually store in the cover of this book, because I don't typically like having pen holders kind of hanging outside. I want something nice and compact that I can put in a pocket. And like a Lamy Safari like this is just too fat to slide into the cover. If I do end up taking it with me with the Safari, I'll usually just kind of clip it onto the book like that, which isn't ideal. You can't really put it in a pocket that way. Even the Lamy 2000 is just a little too thick. But what I will do sometimes is, gasp, use a ballpoint pen, and I'll just clip it to the outside, and then I may throw the elastic over it. And that works. That's compact, but I like using fountain pens, so we'll see. There's a pen coming in the mail fairly soon, and we'll be doing a review on that. And that may work with my Traveler's Notebook passport size. So some pen and paper stuff to look forward to for all of you guys out there who are really into that. And then, of course, we have Deathloop. That series is continuing on Stuff and Things Plays. It's 2 weeks away now from being over, and the ending is really interesting and really cool, so please check that out. And then, of course, Kevin the Kurt's continued adventures in Elden Ring. maybe the best game that has ever been made. I can't say that yet because I haven't finished the game, obviously. I'm still very early on in it, but I absolutely love it. I think it's amazing, and I think this series is really fun with Kevin the Kurt. After the Deathloop series ends, then we'll be going back to our Monday, Wednesday, Friday schedule on Stuff and Things Plays. So right now we're posting videos Monday, Wednesday. What am I doing? Yeah, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, to Deathloop, to Elden Ring. But once Elden Ring, or once Deathloop is finished, which it will be in 2 weeks' time, we'll be going to 3 Elden Ring videos a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So stay tuned for that as well, please. Thank you. All right, so somebody wrote into me, and they are not the first person to ask me this, and I have it in my feedback here. This is from Scottum via YouTube, and Scottum says, appreciate the videos, but could you monetize your channel via a join button? Not sure how that works, but perhaps gain more traction in donation support if viewers didn't have to sign up for new platforms, etc. Just a question, no disrespect intended. Thank you for the question, Scottum. I've had a couple people ask me about this, and I have to admit it is kind of a blind spot for me on the YouTube platform. I guess there is a subscriptions tab, but I don't exactly know what it's for. So I'm gonna have to look into this. I don't know if you're supposed to kind of wall content behind subscriptions. I don't really want to do that, so I'm not really interested in doing that. But maybe it's an alternative for Patreon. I know some people just don't want to use Patreon. They don't want to go through the hassle, as Scottum says, of joining another platform. Some people don't like the platform itself. So if enough of you express interest in wanting to support the channel or the channels via YouTube subscriptions, I will look into that and see what that entails, and then I will give you an update on that. I still think, despite some of the issues that Patreon has, it's still probably the best platform right now if you want to support the channels, and we'll be getting into that a little bit more too. We might have a giveaway that might be Patreon focused, so I will let you know about that. But yeah, thanks for the question, Scottum, and it's something I just wanted to throw out to all of you out there. Do any of you have any interest in this subscription thing going on YouTube? And if so, I will look into it. All right, but now it's time for an update on Baren Vanilla Roll Cake. So, we posted a video entitled, I Am Not Going to Like Baren Vanilla Roll Cake. It is part of our new series, I'm Not Going to Like This. And it is a series that's not going to be entirely about pipe blends. It could be about anything that I think you would be interested in seeing me review, but that I might not typically review because I didn't think I would like it or enjoy it. But the twist in this is that I want it to be the kind of thing, I think I mentioned this before, where obviously I'm not going to enjoy being punched in the stomach, you know? Well, maybe it's not so obvious for some people, but for me, I'm not going to enjoy being punched in the stomach, so I'm not going to do a video on that. It has to be about something that maybe there's a chance that I actually will like it, but I have certain prejudices or certain ideas about what I enjoy, and I think, oh, well, I'm not going to like this, so I wouldn't typically review it, but now with this new series, maybe I'll give it a try, maybe I'll be surprised, so that kind of thing. Anyway, I did Baren Vanilla Roll Cake, and I didn't love it. I didn't hate it, but it wasn't something that I thought I would enjoy. I kind of lamented the fact that I had this big tin that I probably was never going to finish. But I did decide after I posted that video, and a couple of people had expressed interest in hearing if my opinions had changed, if I tried it a few more times. I have tried it a couple more times since that initial video, and I have to say it hasn't gotten any worse in my estimation, but it certainly hasn't gotten any better. It's something that for me is very, like I could, if I had to, I could use this, I could indulge in this on a weekly basis, and I wouldn't consider myself persecuted, but I wouldn't particularly enjoy it, and it would kind of defeat the purpose. Like if I'm enjoying a pipe, it's because I really want to relax and really enjoy the experience, and this maybe it would have some of that relaxation aspect, but it wouldn't be something that flavor-wise I was really enjoying. And still, I'm not really a huge fan. It does tend to want to bite me a little bit as well. So what I think we're gonna do, if we're allowed to do this, I think what I'm gonna do is do a giveaway on Patreon. And what we'll do is anyone who is a Patreon supporter at whatever level, I think I'll put a post on Patreon, and anyone who responds to that post can be entered into, now you have to be very careful about this. This is just a giveaway. Will be entered, their names will be thrown in a hat for a giveaway. Where's the FCC? Are they gonna freak out? Anyway, that's what we're gonna do. So if you're a Patreon supporter, if you are not a Patreon supporter and you wanna just sign up for this, go ahead and do that. There's a link in the description box below. But I will do a giveaway on Patreon because I've had some people on Patreon asking like, hey, do we get anything exclusive? Like, yeah, that's probably a good point. Maybe I should give you something exclusive. So there will be a post on Patreon by the time this video posts. And if you respond to that post via Patreon and you are a current Patreon supporter, you'll have a chance for this giveaway, and I guess I'll probably have some sort of cutoff date for that response. But pay attention to the Patreon page for the Stuff and Things show. Like I said, link in the description box below, and by the time this video posts, I will have a post on Patreon about the giveaway. I think all that makes sense, and I think it's okay. Hopefully. But now, gang, it is time for hashtag #AskStuffandThings. Every week, I like to answer questions from you. You can write to me via Twitter, tweet at @SATBradley with the hashtag #AskStuffandThings with your questions. You can write to me via Patreon. If you are a Patreon supporter, I answer questions from you if you submit them there. Or if you would like to go to my YouTube videos and leave comments with questions and just your feedback as well. I try to go through every single comment, no matter how many there are, and pick out questions. So first, via Twitter, we have a question from Tyler, at Tyler DeVoicer. Hey Bradley, don't know if you remember me, ha ha ha. My question is, do you ever watch TV while essing your pee? Hashtag #AskStuffandThings. Tyler, I do remember you, but didn't you have a different Twitter name at one point? I don't think Tyler DeVoicer was your Twitter handle before, but yes, of course I remember you, Tyler. Do I ever ess my pee, or do I ever watch TV while essing my pee? No. I watch YouTube often in my vehicle on breaks and stuff, or on my lunch breaks while essing my pee, but no, not television, because our television is in our living room and nothing like that will ever happen in our living room as long as my fiance has anything to say about it. Thank you for the question, Tyler. Next, via YouTube and Scottum. Oh, we already read that. Sorry, Scottum. Next, we have feedback. And this is from the Sunday Stuff and Things episode. This is from Barry McAllister, and I was just asking people what they had thought of the Not Like series. Barry says, I like the idea of the planned Not Like series. Maybe we could vote on Twitter beforehand. And a couple people have suggested things like that. I don't know that I would want to do that. We'll see, but like I said, I want to be able to pick things that there is at least a chance I may like, even if my predisposition is to think, oh, I'm probably not going to like this. Maybe there's a chance. And if I leave it up to people to just say, I want you to pick this, this, or this, and try it, I think it's more than likely, well, I don't know. I'll have to think about that. Maybe. Maybe is the answer. Next, from Sean Kearney. I don't know what the vanilla roll cake is like, as it has burley. And burley does not like me. But the MB Vanilla Flake is a great blend for me. It does not have the goopy flavor that turns me off of most aromatics. I would put it in the crossover area, though it might be a little light for your taste. Enjoy. Thank you, Sean. Next from Keith Jones. Bradley, about drinking. I do think you have the wrong outlook. So I was talking about how I'm not a big fan of alcohol. But I do drink occasionally. I have nothing against people who do drink. For someone who enjoys the nuances of pee-essing, I'm sure those of us that are concerned with your drinking are curious why you don't also enjoy the nuances of fine spirits. For me, I exclusively drink single malt scotch, and we're talking small servings here. Just enough to wet the tongue and taste it. Occasionally, the sipping will build up to very mild intoxication when I'm really enjoying it some nights, but I actively avoid that. Not to mention, scotch is too expensive to get drunk on anyway. Something like an old-fashioned is great, but in that format, you're consuming quite a bit more than you would be sipping it neat at the bottom of a Glencairn glass. Also, I believe there is an art to tasting, just as there is a proper way to enjoy P-essing. Definitely worth exploring. I think the analogy would be akin to essing a pea for a nick fix rather than for all the other great things it offers. Who was this? Keith, thank you for the feedback. I appreciate that a lot. I'm sure many people agree with you. I just don't particularly like the taste of alcohol. So it's not that I'm thinking that I should only enjoy it for intoxicating effects and I don't really like to be intoxicated. It's that people talk about enjoying the taste of a single malt scotch or something. The chemical that is alcohol within alcohol, I don't like the taste of. I can tolerate it, and there are some drinks that I'm like, this goes from being like to good, but it's still not something. If I had my choice to drink something for the flavor, it would never be an alcoholic beverage, if that makes any sense. So, yeah, I mean, I understand that other people do appreciate that flavor, but I just don't myself. Next, feedback on the vanilla roll cake, I'm not going to like this episode. Ralph Burns says, Bradley, tell me, what do you do with the teas that you do not like? Throw them away, pass them along, or what? Might I suggest your Patreon subscribers could be benefactors? Thank you, Ralph. Stay tuned for Patreon for that. Next, from Tampa Pete McQuain, 2 things I like about this, the Mr. Horse cameo, and our shared opinion towards the vanilla roll cake. Yes, I did put a little Mr. Horse from Ren and Stimpy clip in that episode. Also, I winced a little when you whipped out your Ashton. I was expecting a basket pipe or something else for this taste test, and at least it wasn't a Lakeland blend. Thank you very much, Tampa Pete McQuain. I've got to say something here, and this has been building up inside of me for oh so long. Ghosting. I don't really buy it. I do understand that if you have a pipe and if you have a super, super strong, gloopy, aromatic blend and you are essing that blend in that pea for a month, then that pipe will be ghosted. I do understand that. And I used to think, if I just do one bowl in this pipe, it's going to be smelling like this blend forever. It's going to taste like this blend forever. It's not true. It doesn't really bother me. Just having one bowl of something like this, especially, this isn't a super, super strong flavored blend. It definitely has this taste of vanilla, but I just had a bowl in my Ashton, and I hadn't used my Ashton since I reviewed Baren Vanilla Roll Cake, and after a week, I don't smell the vanilla roll cake. Just having one bowl in something is not enough to ghost your pipe. And people act as though it's some sort of like virus or crazy contaminant that if your pipe is exposed to it, it's like, oh, that's it, it's ghosted. That's not the case. You have to really try to ghost your pipe. And if you're trying all sorts of different blends in there, everything kind of melds in together and it's not gonna taste or smell like any one thing in particular. And if you have an aromatic and you try it in one of your pipe is not ruined after that. Like, you clean your pipe and have a different blend in there, and that flavor and that smell will go away. I think we're way oversensitive about all this ghosting stuff. I just thought I'd mention that. Okay, from Corbin Bourbon. Definitely thought this was a fair review, even though you were honest about your preferences. I wonder how a normal review for this blend would turn out with more time with it, and no, I'm not asking for self-harm by having you smoke a blend you don't enjoy for a week or two. So I've kind of answered that question. Thank you, Corbin Bourbon. From Wayne Air, I agree with your views on this blend. I essed a tin last year and didn't want to buy another one, but I was wondering if it might age to taste better after a year or two because of the higher quality teas used. Maybe once the Virginias have matured, maybe the vanilla will be toned down. It might be interesting to see if it improves later, seeing as you won't be essing this tin. Just a thought. And that's a good thought, Wayne Air, and you're not the only person who suggested that to me. I think in this particular case, I will not be holding on to this, but it is a good point that often with aromatics, things will mellow, the flavor contents will change, or the flavor profile will change, and especially with a Virginia blend, you will notice that, I'm sure. Next, from Grizzly, I think a lot of people's mouths are traumatized by the low-quality aromatic blends a lot of us started out the hobby with. It wasn't until recently that I discovered some quality ones that I really enjoy, particularly Rivendell from the Country Squire. I always keep a pound on deck now next to my favorite Virginia and English blends from them, Green Dragon and Shepherd's Pie. And I find it especially enjoyable on those occasions. I want something sweet with my coffee, especially out of a wide bowl like a 320 shape. I think this would be a fun series for you, a journey to find the aromatic that actually sits well with you. Ha 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 ha. Yeah, maybe. A lot of people wanted me to try these blends from the Country Squire. And I know you're not saying that specifically I would need to try these blends, but yeah, it's possible. There have been some kind of crossover aromatics that I've actually enjoyed, so it's not outside the realm of possibility. Next, from Sirius Zenith. Oh, my number one favorite tea. The vanilla aroma is relatively mild, natural, but pleasant. The fact you can taste the vanilla all the way through says a lot about this tea's quality. Heaven for the aromatic P-esser. This tea should be essed very slowly to get the full release of flavor and prevent tongue bites. Thank you for your review. Always enjoy watching your videos. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Sirius Zenith. And I know a lot of people actually really enjoy Mac Baren vanilla roll cake. So more power to you. If you like it, you like it, and I don't think you're wrong to like it. It's just not my particular taste. And then finally from Mike1614, I think I'm not going to like this. Excellent. All right, gang, good feedback there. Please keep your feedback coming. As I mentioned, you can do it via Twitter, you can do it via Patreon, or via YouTube comments. But before we go, it's time for the very best part of the show, and that is where I thank you, the Patreon supporters. You really make this show go. The fancy camera that is filming this episode, the lights that are shining upon me, even like maybe some of the backdrops here, that was made possible by our Patreon supporters. Look, I got a lucky cat. Lucky cat. And it is super, super appreciated. We mentioned before, if there are any videos about teas or peas or pipe teas, trying to keep all my euphemisms clear, they can't be monetized on YouTube, so it really helps out to have you guys supporting these channels on Patreon. So if you would like to support the channels, there is a link in the description box below. But every week we like to thank those who support us at $25 or more a month, with a shout out. People like Kirk Crompton, Private Eye, Glenn, Jason Buckner, Gloria Phillips, Matt Marino, MDoftheNorth, and David Gaudreau. And of course the Maniacs, the crazy people who support the channels at $100 a month. People like our good friend and award-winning author Peter Straub, stolid, dependable Bob Magee, and Ashes of the Phoenix, our latest Maniac tier supporter. Thank you all so much for your support. Thank you all so much for watching, subscribing, commenting, and all that good stuff. Please stay tuned for the 6-year follow-up on my Midori Traveler's Notebook passport size review. That will be posting this Wednesday. Deathloop and Elden Ring on Stuff and Things Plays, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. We will have a new fountain pen video up within a few weeks, probably, so stay tuned for that. But until next time, until we meet again, I've been your good friend Bradley. You've been the audience. This has been Stuff and Things on a pleasant Sunday Stuff and Things. I'll see you later.